Hey, we should go to my fridge and get some beers because I bought a 12-pack yesterday. I'm down to drink.
No. I actually beer battered some brats and drank 11 beers.
Rude! Hello, friends! Welcome to episode 87 of User Friendly. I'm your co-host, Erfan Elijah. You might know me.
There's something like floating right there. What is that?
Floating where?
There was something floating, like, never mind. It went, but there was some like a piece of lint right in front of the lens.
We should just keep it going. Let's not even cut there.
Am I having like an optical freak out?
It's tracking your face.
Not that. Yeah. Okay. It was just.
Is it the face tracker?
No. It's like light, shining off the lens or something like that. But it looks like it's something that's.
Oh, you're talking about on the actual lens?
That's so weird. It's actually the apple that's coming off your computer that I see.
Oh,
sorry about that.
I see what you're talking about.
Should we leave that in?
Yeah, let's just leave all that in.
No.
I'm your co-host, Erfan Elijah. You might know me from the Cultcast podcast. I'm here with my friend who has excellent lint tracking abilities.
Roberto Hoyos, and I wear glasses.
And where are you from, Roberto Hoyos?
Oh, I'm the founder of Throwboy.com. And what about you?
I founded the Cultcast.com.
We're off the rails. But
we're just taking it off the rails this episode. So
Bringing
you
it
thought
back.
there was some on the lens, huh?
It looked like it, but it's just your
I
computer.
think I kind of see what you're talking about. Yeah, it might be like the Apple.
Yeah, don't worry about it. No one cares.
No.
Okay.
Episode 87.
Yeah.
Clink. Roberto's drinking wine.
No,
this is just straight.
It's non-alcoholic wine.
Straight up
Grape
gin.
juice.
Is that grape juice? Is that where the Capri Sun went? I know you brought that over here. You like to feel sophisticated. Hey guys. Got an exciting show planned for you guys today.
Yeah, we do.
I'm excited to talk more about iPhones.
Yes. So it is Sunday. iPhone came out on what? Tuesday? Monday?
Mm-hmm.
So it's been
Tuesday.
all a buzz since then.
Yeah, pretty predictable. Some people love it. Some people think it's the worst thing ever. People comparing it to Android phones. The stock dropped, of course. My brother was like, oh man, the stock dropped. He's like, uh-oh. And I was like, dude, that's what always happens. Yeah, every single time.
And every single time somebody's like, uh-oh.
Uh-oh, Apple's losing it.
I don't know.
So let's just start with that. So, because I'm interested to hear what you think.
Yeah.
For those of you who listen to the Cultcast, you kind of already got to hear what I thought. But so what did you think about the two new phones, and are you getting one?
So I think the iPhone 5S is actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I'm interested to see what the fingerprint scanner is like in practice. Mm-hmm. I think it's pretty bold that they're putting it so like prominent in terms of it's going to be used also for verifying payment, which I think is pretty interesting. Mm-hmm. The camera looks amazing, and I think that will kind of bring in some people that are maybe want it but weren't really going to buy it. I think a lot of people might buy it because of the camera technology in this new phone. And I'm not going to get it because I'm on the 5 cycle, so I'm just going to wait till the 6, I guess, you know?
Excuse me, yeah.
And I think that the 5Cs are going to be like a big deal. I think that that's going to be like their iPod mini, like the way that the iPod was this like prestigious, expensive thing that not everybody had, and then they did the mini and they did it in colors and it became suddenly accessible to, you know, teens and all sorts of people. I don't think it's the emerging market thing that people thought it was going to be. I think like on your show Leander said he thinks it's for like people in the first world, like
yeah, he kept pushing that, and I don't remember if I replied because him and Adam were having a conversation about it. I don't think it has anything to do with selling these in India or in places.
No, he said the contrary.
Oh, he did?
Yeah. He was saying, he's like, no, I think this is for American teens and stuff like that. And I totally agree.
I do too. To me, I thought he was saying, I thought this is gonna be like an inexpensive phone where they're gonna sell it to like third world countries, I guess. And I was like, gosh, I don't think they're trying for that at all.
Well, that's what the rumor was, that they were going to try to get into China by doing that, right? That was like that was people's rumor that they were going to do a quote unquote cheap iPhone, and it was going to be when it's unsubsidized, it would still be like $50 or something insane, right? But that's not what happened at all. And I mean, I heard Rene Ritchie make a really good comment. He's like, Apple's never tried to get every customer in that regard. You know, they just try to go for that market that they actually know about. And I think it's going to be a big hit because I think that people like that kind of thing, man. They like that. They like colors and they like these kind of like very surface level things. And then you're still getting an iPhone 5. I think it's going to be good. And I think it's good that they're going to move away from like, we just had our last year's phone as our cheap phone, you know, because nobody really likes that. Like, I remember it was hard for me to even recommend to my sister, go ahead and just get an iPhone 4 because I don't think you're going to notice. But it's still like, well, that's like last year's tech, you know?
Yeah.
Even though it's not updated tech, it just, in a new wrapper, I think it's just kind of smart, you know?
I think it's genius. Yeah, it's exactly for that reason because I think this is going to be Apple's, you know, kind of mid-tier phone for everybody.
Yeah.
And for the average consumer, I don't think that they know what the tech even is. They go into a store and they look at an iPhone or let's say an iPhone 5, iPhone 4S, and one's new and one's not new, right? And to them, they don't really get the technology that's inside. They just know that one's new and one's a year old. It's day old, right? Stale.
Yeah.
And that's why it's cheap. Whereas now they walk in and it's like, oh, both of these phones are brand new every year. And even though Apple's literally just taking the exact same phone and stuffing it into a plastic case.
And maybe adding one thing like the camera is new. The front-facing camera is higher.
What do you mean? Oh, yeah. So it's the front-facing camera is nicer. Yeah. But other than that, it's literally the same phone, and people are going to buy it because it's a brand new phone. Yeah. And I do think the plastic cases are going to be great for just, you know, your everyday people who don't need to have the newest tech, like to have colorful stuff.
Yeah, and it's still an iPhone.
And it's an iPhone,
you know, and like at the end of the day, that's what really majority of people that are not techie want. They want the iPhone. Or they'll be like, is this like the iPhone? Or is this like the iPad? You know? I mean, how many people you know that use non-iPad tablets that go, hey, that's like the iPad, right? You know?
Yeah, I don't know anyone that uses a tablet that's like not an iPad. I honestly don't.
My dad has a Samsung tablet or something.
Does he really?
Like yeah.
He has a Samsung Galaxy Tab then, right?
One of those, I don't remember, but yeah.
Oh, interesting. I'm sure they're out there. I mean, people are buying Android tablets. I just never meet them or see them anywhere ever.
But what was the other thing about the announcement?
5S.
5S. The iPhone or the iOS 7, right? That's gonna be a big deal. I mean, I don't know. I kind of liken iOS 7, even though we already known about it, obviously. But I kind of liken it to them switching from macOS 9 to macOS 10. I think this is going to be a very like big difference, but it's also going to be just the beginning of a new direction rather than.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, they're gonna probably we're gonna find things that aren't completely the same in terms of like, oh, they don't have that anymore. And they're going to be adding things back. Like, I think they might be adding things along the way to make things more improved.
Are you talking about to iOS 7 or to the phone itself?
iOS 7.
Okay.
Yeah. But that's just kind of on a side. Anyway, what about, what else did they talk about? I guess that's it.
That was pretty much it. I, like you, am not going to be getting a new iPhone. It's always tough because I always want to get one just because it's the newest thing, right? And then that allows me to talk about it on the show. But from a regular consumer standpoint, I obviously have to pay for this myself. Apple's not sending me one. It's $600 because I don't qualify to upgrade. And I look at the offering of the 5S over the 5, and honestly, I don't see $600 the value there.
Yeah, because you're on the 5S, right?
Well, the 5. I'm sorry.
I mean, the 5.
I'm not going to upgrade to the 5S.
We're both on the 5, right?
Yeah, we're both on the 5. And the fingerprint sensor looks awesome. That's actually probably the thing I'm most excited about.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, the slow-mo video, probably will never use that ever.
Yeah.
I mean, that looks cool, but it's one of those cool features that I'll probably never use. The front-facing camera being better is cool. If anything else, I think probably the A7 chip and the fact that it's 64-bit enabled.
And the M7 chip.
And the M7 chip, which I think is going to be a really curious development going forward. So for those of you that didn't catch the Cultcast, Apple has released, or Apple's including an M7 motion chip in their new iPhone 5S, not in the 5C. And basically it's just going to interact with gadgets that need to know like your GPS coordinates, like your accelerometer readings, all that kind of stuff. So instead of having to go to the phone's processor, it can be handled by this low power chip. And I just think it's obvious if they're doing this now, they're obviously preparing for an iWatch. I think they're preparing for one, and the iWatch, in order to perform well, needs something like this.
Yeah, dedicated for that.
It needs something dedicated, and it needs something that can be in touch with a piece of hardware 24. I was going to say 24/7. Maybe that's not the right way to describe it, but
just like immediately.
Yeah, continuously is the right word, because a lot of the fitness products that you use now, they only work when their apps are turned on, essentially, so that they can connect to your iPhone. But imagine if they could always connect to your iPhone and get the data that they need all the time.
And also, I wonder if they can use that chip to do things like some of these Android phones are doing, where it's listening to you, So if you're like, okay, Siri or whatever, and then it already knows that.
Oh, maybe.
That it's something waiting for the background. But I don't know. I haven't seen very good evidence of those phones doing very well with that voice command stuff.
I haven't either. Yeah.
It seems like I've seen it on podcasts, and then they'll mention it without doing the OK prefix, and it will still activate.
Really?
So it's stupid, but anyway.
A lot of that stuff is just gimmicks. It's interesting to see what will actually work.
I'm kind of excited the fact that I'm still on the non-S cycle, because this phone is pretty darn different with the fingerprint sensor.
It
and
is
everything.
very different, yeah.
And that I'm like, I want the second one, I don't want that first version,
Yeah.
So I'm kind of more excited to get the 6 than I am to get the.
Well, technically we could get both, right?
We
upgrade
could,
now and then upgrade again.
But I'm not gonna pay for I want to pay $200. Boom,
Yeah, I thought about the fact that if you sold your phone now, you might still be able to pay $200. You would just have to sell your phone.
Yeah.
And then make up the cost.
And I just got a brand new iPhone. Did you know about that?
You told me that, yeah.
I went to the Genius Bar because I keep having issues with the camera getting gunked up under the lens. Mm-hmm. And this time around, they didn't even try to clean it. He's just like, oh, all right, let me see it. And he wanted to check if it had water damage. And then he's like, okay, I'll be right back. And I was like, I'm not paying for anything. I don't care that much. If I messed it up and I have to pay you $30 to open it up and change something, then I won't do it. And he's like, no, we can't really service these as well. So we have to give you just a brand new phone.
We send these to Shanghai to be fixed.
Which is goes back to that topic we had a couple weeks ago, which is what? You can't open the stupid iPhones to change anything on them.
No, you definitely cannot. Yeah, they're glued shut. Quickly, also, I don't know if we mentioned this in the last Cultcast, but there's already rumors for the iPhone 6. One of them is from the Wall Street Journal. Which
you did talk about that.
Did we?
Yeah.
One of them.
Well, actually, you didn't talk about it. You just said.
I just alluded to it.
You said something about they're already bringing up iPhone 6.
There are. So there are rumors before the 5S was even announced. There's iPhone rumors for the 6. And Wall Street Journal and I think Ming-Chi Kuo, which is an analyst with KGI Securities, and the only reason I remember that is because this guy is right a lot of the time. Mm-hmm. He's probably one of the most accurate analysts out there. And first, the Wall Street Journal came out and said, indeed, the next iPhone is going to have a larger screen, which is what everyone has been waiting for. I mean, everyone wants a bigger screen, and Apple thought. I was looking for my iPhone. Apple thought when they made this screen 16:9 and they made it larger,
taller,
that everyone was gonna. They just made it taller, that everyone was gonna be satisfied. But no, I want a larger screen, not just taller. I want it to be longer.
You really want a big old Galaxy S3?
Heck yes.
Really?
Oh yeah. The bigger the screen, the better. You know why?
I don't know, man.
Here's why I want
it. Maybe I will when I see it, but
I bet you will.
I bet you will. I've played with those very kind of closely, and I didn't like the bear claw.
Really?
Yeah.
I just got big old. Look at these big old paws. These big old paws I got. Oh my gosh! Wow, yeah, I got a
That's
5
like a
inches
good
on
inch
you.
on me.
Yeah, I'm like Arsenio Hall.
Arsenio Hall.
Arsenio Hall. Remember that big old long finger? Did you ever watch? Yeah. Did you ever watch Living Color?
Oh yeah.
And they would
They
have
like, a big
Keenan Ivory
butt.
Wayans do it, and they would like add a finger extension. So his finger was like this long. He's always pointing at people.
I'll find that clip.
Oh, so great. So for me, I read a lot when I'm commuting and stuff, and I take the bus. And I want an iPad Mini, but the thing about the iPad Mini that really grinds my gears is the fact that you have to pay for the data. I'm not going to go off onto a tangent here. So you're already paying for the data once, and then your carrier says, oh, you want to use the data that you're paying for? Oh, hey, pay an extra $10 a month. By the way, we're going to meter you. So I don't want to do any of that. Mm-hmm. And so having an iPad Mini really isn't the best solution for me to like just take an iPad Mini with me when I travel.
Oh, okay.
Because it doesn't have data on it.
I didn't know what you were getting at. Yeah.
Sorry, I should have been more clear about that. And so for me, a larger screen iPhone would be perfect because that way I can read better and watch stuff, when I'm commuting, and it has the data plan built right in, right? I'm not having to pay any additional money to actually use it.
That makes sense. I don't know. It's I probably sound like just such a Kool-Aid drinker because I'm like, whatever Apple says is the ideal size. I'm like, okay, that's the ideal size, you know?
But they said that about the size of the screen on the iPhone 4S.
Or the original iPhone.
Yeah,
they were
thought that was the ideal size.
But see, I mean, they were really the pioneers of figuring out size for one-handed operation. You know? Mm-hmm. So, I mean, if that's still, that's still not definitive yet. So it's fine if they want to keep messing with the sizes or whatever.
Yeah, and there probably is a standard hand size in the United States.
Yeah.
But mine are obviously like huge. And
you should look up on your computer while I show them on
Andre the Giant
Arsenio Hall.
Arsenio Hall. What am I looking at?
Look up original iPhone hand ad or something like that. Do you remember that?
Hand ad?
Yeah, try that.
Original
because
iPhone.
they changed the hand sizes of the hand model. Like it originally, try the images. It originally had a hand that was like pretty normal. It was like some guy holding it. And then later on it turned into like gorilla hand where he's basically holding it like in his two fingers. Like you should find it. Try a hand model.
Original iPhone hand model?
Yeah. There you go. That's it.
Wait, which one? This one?
No, this one.
Oh. How interesting.
See, look how small it looks. Because people thought it was larger than it was when before it had hit the market. Uh-huh. And then now it's like, they were like, well, let's make sure that it's actually a small phone, not...
That's so funny. This guy is probably 4'2". And he has just absolutely perfectly manicured hands.
Yeah.
Or I wonder if they do it in Photoshop. They take a picture of the hand.
Oh,
and
manicure his hands?
No, I just meant like the scale of the hand.
Oh, maybe, yeah. I don't know. It's probably all like that front face is totally photoshopped,
Of course, and there's the dude holding the freaking iPad Mini.
Mini. And he's like crunching.
Yeah, and he's got that thing in his paws. Let's see, iPad Mini. And this guy, I mean, I could do this.
Do a hand model. Oh.
I could do this. That's probably what it would look like, though.
That's kind of what they're pushing. So are these because there's phones around that size, right? Quote unquote.
I don't think so.
Phablets.
No. I don't think there are phones that are that big.
But like the phablet phones are.
Oh!
Because I remember Leo Laporte had a huge like 7-inch screen phone.
He probably had a Samsung Galaxy or a Samsung Galaxy Note.
Yeah. That's what it
Galaxy
is. That still
Note
around?
2. Yeah. In fact, I think it's one of their more popular phones. So
that to me seems like the grandpa phone.
Oh, is there a Note 3?
Because
is it really?
Yeah, it's not unlike those phones that people would have in their house that had gigantic buttons on it so they could see it. You know what I'm talking about? That's what it seems like to me. Like you need a huge screen because I can't see anymore.
Holy moly! Let's see if this is.
Do your old man impression talking about that phone.
You know what I like about the Note 3? As when I'm playing Solitaire, I can actually see my cards.
Grandpa, you need to calm down.
Oh, excuse me. I can't hear you, boy.
God damn it, Grandpa.
Not again, Grandpa. Huh? Where's my Samsung Galaxy? Wait, no, he wouldn't say Galaxy.
No.
He'd say, where's my Samsung? Galaxy float. What? Yeah, that's huge, especially if you know how big the
the
the phone is actually.
Or
like,
the S4.
Yeah. It's huge. I want to.
Hey, it's S4 and 4S.
The S4 and 4S. That's not confusing. I want to see it in somebody's hand.
There's Asian girls with it.
That's weird. How? That's that. There's no way. That's a Galaxy Note.
No, I just saw it there.
You wouldn't think that Asian women would have hands that big. Like, look at that. She's barely holding on to that thing. Sorry, I'm like
engineered to have large hands and small bodies.
That's actually surprising that she can hold it so, like, gently. Because her hands gotta be small, right?
It's Photoshop, man.
They must have photoshopped it.
Okay.
Or that's a guy in drag.
Let's watch this thing real quick. Is it backwards letters?
It's like Last Cult Cast. Oh, I love this show.
Me too. Yeah, he does have and he has like a huge butt. One finger is just longer than the other finger. All right. Did you know that he actually has a new show? Like the Arsenio Hall show.
Does he really?
He's back.
I wonder why they ever got rid of it.
Yeah, I don't know.
I wonder how long it was on air. I actually really liked the Arsenio Hall show.
Oh my god, and Living Color. Awesome. So good. If you don't,
such a great show, yeah.
Milli Vanilli skit. Like, if you click on one, you're gonna end up clicking on so many.
Yeah, I should start watching those more often.
So
and for our young viewers, if you've never seen where Jim Carrey got his start, I mean, A Living Color was it. And
it's like
he was so funny.
It's like SNL except it was taped, and then they would actually play they play the footage though for audiences to react to.
Oh, did they really?
Yeah, it's kind of like Dave Chappelle's show.
Oh,
Chappelle's show. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I guess because they had to actually go out and make the stuff. And then also Jenny from the Block got her start there, right?
That's right.
J-Lo.
And Jamie Foxx.
Yeah. That's right. You know what's funny about Jamie Foxx?
And the Wayans brothers.
And the Wayans brothers as well, is he was like hardcore comedian when he started, and now he's not really...
He doesn't really have a thing, but he's the A-list, right?
He's A-list, though, yeah. Obviously a talented actor. He's been in all sorts of crazy stuff.
And one heck of a singer.
Such a good singer, yeah. Okay, so hey, moving on. Wait, so you're going to go stand in line with...
Oh, yeah, so I'm thinking about... my sister said she's sold on the iPhone 5S. Really wants it. Wants the gold one.
Really?
Yeah. And
I'm really interested to see how well that sells.
I was like, you are that market. And dude, it reminded me of the will.i.am accessory. I bet that if that ever comes out, perfect fit for the gold iPhone.
I think people who are really into hip hop are gonna love the gold phone because like they're into like flashy accessories, right?
And it shows off like I have this new phone, right?
Yeah, it's true.
Which is totally what it's about because you have your kicks.
You got your golden kicks.
You have your tags still on your hat,
which are gold in color. Then you got your iPhone on a chain around your neck.
Yeah, boy.
That's what we need to sell.
Yeah,
the iPhone chain.
That's why I'm going in line to sell iPhone chains, actually. But yeah, I'm thinking about waiting in line for her and. Chris Perillo is going to wait in line here at the local store. So I was thinking about just doing like a vlog.
That'd be pretty cool.
Just because I want to get...
What time? Do you have to get there really early in the morning?
Yeah, that's the thing. I need to call the store because I don't know. Our mall, this mall that I'm talking about, they have a parking structure. And I'm like, well, are they going to let people into that parking structure at like 5 in the morning or what? You know? Because...
Oh, yeah. Because you could park there.
They will... I mean, can you actually get through? Or are they going to...
You could park. I just don't know if you could get in.
Oh, right, because it's the inside of the mall. I bet they probably mess, or maybe they just have a line.
They'll have a place for you to stand. Apple's gonna have all that stuff figured out.
I'm gonna call just to make sure because we were saying earlier they're not letting people pre-order this phone.
Yeah, I was actually gonna say we should talk about that because that's really interesting.
So I think that it's because they want lines and it's for marketing purposes.
I think you might be right. Maybe their lines are starting to dwindle, and so
because we remember the 5 had
iPhone
pre-order.
5,
You could pre-order it,
and there weren't very many people in line waiting to get it.
Yeah, because especially because that's the thing, man. The people in line waiting to get it are the tech heads.
Yeah,
because they need to have it, and because you could pre-order it. Everybody I know that it was techie just pre-ordered it.
Yeah.
And it showed up at their place like 2 days before the iPhone came to the store.
Oh.
You know?
I got mine the same day, I think.
Yeah, so it was like...
But still, yeah, because, I don't know, I mean, waiting in line's cool, but if you've done it before, it's really early.
Have you done it?
Yeah, I went down there 1 year. I actually wasn't even buying it. I was just down there, like, talking to people.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. And it was super early.
That's kind of the reason I'm going, except for my sister, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be ending up buying it. But can I buy her a phone and then bring it home and she activates it? Do they still let you do that? Or...
That's a great question. I don't know.
Because they used to do that, and then they've changed it, and I don't know if they've changed it back. But
well, yeah, I mean, because she needs to be eligible for an upgrade.
She is.
So you need to have her telephone number, her social security number, probably. Like, you have to have all the information so that they can link that phone to her account. Because otherwise, they're not going to give you a discount.
Yeah, I don't know. I might go regardless, but and another thing I did I'm doing it for is I'm gonna bring an ICEO and have it be in line. So
that'd be cool.
I'm doing it just for like kind of like the photo op of having it in line. But I also encourage, and if you have an ICEO and you're gonna wait in line, take a photo of it in line because we're gonna try to get some photos of the ICEO waiting in the long Apple line.
Oh, cool. So, I wonder if it's gonna be long. I think you might be right about that whole. The reason that they're not letting people pre-order is maybe because they're trying to get people to come and stand in line.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I feel like since the iPhone 4. Lines have kind of been dwindling a little bit. Like, people were not really all that excited about the iPhone 5. It was like, it has the bigger screen, cool.
Yeah, so what is the public reception for this? Because I remember this was, it's Apple's getting boring now and blah blah.
I think that's pretty much it.
Is that still the same thing?
I think that's the status quo now. Apple comes out with something, and unless it's drastically different, like they're like, you know, this one only clips onto a headband that you wear on your face 24/7.
This is a triangle shape.
Yeah. Then people were like, "Oh, you've already done this." Yeah. So I don't know. I think it's gonna be. Popular.
Yeah.
But Apple is this market for them is maturing.
Yeah.
And there's not as much hype around it anymore. And I think that kind of is demonstrated by the fact that now they're doing the 5C to really drive it into the mass market, as though it wasn't already, but. They're creating 2 different price tiers, right?
Absolutely.
To sell more. This is a mature market.
It's perfect, man. Colorful iPhone for those kids that just get a phone, and it's $99.
Yeah, Sprint has them for $0. They give them to you free if you bring your phone number to them.
The
5C, yeah.
Done.
Yeah, they give you a free iPhone.
Sold.
Like the new iPhone, right?
Yeah, and every little kid has a phone now, dude. It's crazy.
That's crazy.
I was just watching a Vine, there's this guy on Vine, his name's King Batch, and I was, suggested on YouTube to watch this video, and it was like, King Batch loves the kids. And I watched it, and he was like talking to a bunch of like elementary school kids, and that like noticed him, and they're like, "Oh, can we get a picture with you?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure." And they all had phones, and he's like, "Okay, let's just give all your phones to him, and we'll take pictures."
Wow!
All these elementary school girls.
That's dangerous, dude. Can you imagine being in high school and having a phone with the media capabilities that this has? Not to mention, what's that app that everyone uses for nudie pics of themselves?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Snapchat. I mean, can you imagine your kid having an app where they can take a picture and that picture is immediately wiped off?
Yeah,
so
gone forever.
You can't see it.
Yeah, I think
that's crazy for parents.
I just think it's just like a lot of technology. When we first are introduced to it, people don't understand how to navigate with it yet, and there's no real social what do you call it? Agreements of how to use these kinds of things. So people get really carried away. Like texting in cars has become a problem because that's a brand new thing. It's like a new distraction. It's when TV was introduced, people were like, "Oh, people are becoming couch potatoes," and they never get off their seats because they're watching TV all day. You know what I mean? Like, I think that it just becomes like the society adjusts to these emerging technologies. But I also think it's important for for parents to actually like be involved and actually
Yeah.
talk to their kids about like what kind of things is appropriate to you know, how to use the technology. But yeah, I mean, when you have a kid, a 10-year-old with like a phone, I think that's probably too young, don't you? Like 10?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I can't think of a reason a 10-year-old needs a phone.
Yeah.
Not one. Unless it's like one of those gramophones where all you can do is dial 911
mom.
and mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's it. Why else would your teenager need a phone?
Yeah.
I want to talk to my friends. I don't care.
I bet you by junior high though, like you are super uncool if you don't have a phone. If you're like 12,
Probably.
You know what I mean?
I'm trying to look for parental notifications. I was gonna see like
what they have in there,
like what they actually let
Yeah.
you lock, because man, you would need to lock. I would have this thing just locked on lockdown. This thing would be on lockdown. Like you'd be able to install one app, the library app.
Yeah.
That's it. You couldn't use the camera. You couldn't use the phone. You wouldn't be able to send text messages. You need to go like to library app. That's it. All you can do is check out books.
Yeah, man.
If you want to use a kid, or if you want to use an iPhone in my household, kid, I'm gonna be like one of those real.
We're gonna check back, look at this video in about 5 years' time.
As I'm sitting there and my kid has like a whale tail.
Yeah.
In the back, and she's like 6.
His gray curly hair.
Yeah, I'm just defeated. My kid's got like 3 iPhones. And they're all unlocked. All right, let's move on. You wanted to show me, speaking of apps.
Yeah.
This is not library.app. What is this?
No. So this is something I just became aware of.
Yeah. Just this instant?
Just right now while I was listening to you blather. So this is called Ping.
Uh-huh.
And it is basically, Ping is an email application that is brand new, and it's like we're reimagining email, right? We've heard that. They've heard the
Lots
story
of times.
before.
Is
Right?
this web app only?
No. This is an iPhone app.
Oh.
So it's not unlike Mailbox.
Okay.
Especially since you
Which
have to,
I love, by the way. I've been really loving Mailbox.
you actually have to put in your number to get pinged before what do you call it when it's available for you to download.
Okay.
So let's watch this video. I really don't like this stupid song that's in this video, but we'll watch it.
How widescreen is this? Jeez.
It's Lords of Arabia wide. Tell me when you're bored of it, by the way.
Oh. This is so Apple-y.
Trying to be. It's really distracting.
I agree, it is distracting.
I'm like listening to the words.
If you don't feel the same way, just let it be said, and I'll get this song out of my head.
Look how young and hip and cool we are.
Yeah. Cover flow.
But if somehow
This is where she gets hit by a truck. It's a don't text and walk commercial.
It would have been better without words in this song. Just piano.
It is very distracting.
She sounds like she's making up the words. Doesn't
I
it?
just keep singing and I say what comes to my mind.
I have something in my teeth, and there's a shoe on my bed, and I'm cool. Anyway.
Not a very compelling video.
Really not. But basically what it's supposed to do is turn email into more of a chat, like back and forth, rather than email kind of how it is now, where it's sort of like you have all these weird syntaxes every time that you reply back to somebody. And I've said this for a long time. I was like, I think that's a good way to approach email, is having it just be very kind of bare bones. It's not so formal, you know? Like if I was to email you, my instinct is to go, hey, Erfan, space, what are you doing today? Blah, 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 space.
And I go,
Roberto.
salutations, Roberto,
Yeah.
comma, enter.
Yeah, and I mean, like, that's kind of like the formalities with email, but I think that it's kind of like an interesting thing to try to do. Although, I think the bad thing about it, before we get into like the actual features of what we saw, I think the bad thing about it is that it kind of sets up the stigma that you're available way more, you know? Because like email is very passive, and I feel like it should be passive. I don't think that it should be live. I think it should, because that's what we have iMessage and text message and whatnot.
Yeah, things
and
are instant.
Instant message. But I think that email should be passive because then you can write out like something long and let it go and then come back to it when you can and not actually have it be. That's why. I mean, that's kind of the idea behind it. It shouldn't be like a phone call, you know? It shouldn't be immediate, and it shouldn't feel like, shoot, John just responded to me. Oh, crap, I have to go back to my thing and respond right now, you know? Because he knows, he saw, because in Ping, you can see that I'm typing back to you, you know?
Oh,
you know?
yeah.
So, like, I think some of the features are cool.
Huh, interesting.
But, I don't know. What do you think so far? It's hard to say based off that, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't really feel like that video showed me anything.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, if you asked me what Ping does, I couldn't tell you.
You'd be like, oh, that Apple thing that failed?
Yeah, I'm like, oh, yeah, they got rid of that, didn't they? So...
It's a terrible name.
I think they're trying to make email cool again, and email's not cool anymore. I don't think email's ever going to be cool.
It's such a bad name.
It is. Way too much stuff uses Ping. And
Dude.
I agree. I don't think email needs to be made instantaneous. There's way too much stuff already to do that.
And some of these features I've seen in other apps. Like, remember when we were playing around with Kik?
Yes.
And it had the Google Images built into it? That's exactly what this was showing.
Oh, interesting.
Right?
So, I mean, that's kind of cool. Like, those kind of features are cool. I think my other thing, too, is this is iPhone-based.
Right.
And I guess it does connect with like Gmail and stuff for the web apps, but whoa,
horrible name.
Yeah.
I've clicked on 2 different things that were called.
This is like
Ping.
the golf ball company Ping, isn't it? Like their app.
Is it?
I think so. Like the golfing company.
It doesn't even. I can't tell.
I think it is because that's what their logo looks like.
Oh yeah, it is. It is.
Old white guy in the first picture, definitely golf.
And then the other one was a chat app.
Yeah.
It's pingapp.com if you want to watch that video, but. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, that's fine. I don't get it. I mean, I agree with you in your point that email should be passive, and I don't need my email to be made live.
Yeah. Here's the interface, by the way. I think the video it's trying to hit that cool look.
Yeah, it's a grandma on a motorcycle.
Trying to be like cool aesthetically, but it doesn't have very much information in there.
Yeah, huh.
Like, why wouldn't you just kind of show more of this? Because the crowd that you're hitting is going to be more interested in what you can do with it, not the, oh, look how cool they look. You know?
I mean, that's definitely what I'm most interested in is how it actually works. Yeah.
I think from what I can gather, you have these 2 tabs, and you can click here if you want to just be like, almost like texting, right? So you're, but see, it's like these people in this ad who are like the hip people, they're using iMessage to go back and forth, right?
Or they're using Facebook Message. Yeah.
So
that's the thing.
Like,
why would you go from that to this?
Yeah, and you're gonna be on your phone using this, or you're using an email client to go to do instant message.
That's what it sounds like.
It's like,
and that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you're integrating with their server in some way, but you're not because you're signing into your email account. I have no idea.
Yeah,
I would need to use this because I honestly don't know what the purpose is.
I think that it would be very, very broken if you and, let's say it was you and I, if you had Ping and I didn't.
Yeah.
Right? Because you're sending me like little back and forth, like I'm going to get, instant, hey, check this out. And I'm like, I find it 5 days later.
If you're trying to get a hold of me quickly, like email is not the best way. I just culled down my emails, but I have like 1,300 Cult of Mac emails. So if any of you out there have emailed me and I haven't replied back to you, I may eventually get back to you. But I get so much email in that account because I got press releases and all this other crap. It's hard to filter out.
Sure, yeah.
I mean, if you want to break through the noise, you have to know how to get a hold of me on my iMessage or, via Facebook.
Yeah, that's a lot of people, too.
That's most people, I think. Yeah, for sure.
I don't know. I think It's funny, like I used to be an advocate of this idea of making email more like chat because of the simplicity behind it and the formality being stripped away. However, I think that it changes it from passive to active, and I think that that's not typically how people want to use email. You know?
Yeah,
I definitely don't really subscribe to email is broken. I don't feel like
I don't think so either.
I just think that we get more volume than we were used to getting, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know if that necessarily means it's broken, that it needs to be restructured in the way that like people, the syntaxes that people use, or the formalities I should say that people use. I don't know if that's I don't know if that's the answer to making email fixed, you know?
Yeah, it would be cool if there was something that was smart enough to organize your emails for you, and it's like, these are people that you know, or people that you don't know who actually are real people trying to get your attention legitimately. And then here's all the emails you get from all the companies that are just always trying to market you something.
Yeah, something smart that it like auto filters.
Yeah,
I think
auto moves everything around.
You can be good at that but you have to put a lot of muscle into doing that in terms of like, you set up crazy rules, right?
Yeah, you'd have to constantly be setting up rules, and the front end investment would be huge.
Yeah. I know my friend John. He says he's really aggressive with the rules, and that's. I'm like, yeah, you don't seem to have the big badge of like 95 million unread emails like this guy does, you know?
Oh my gosh.
And he's like,
the Cultimac really press releases. I am too. Well, I'm aggressive with unsubscribing to stuff too, but like, once you put your email out there for the press, it's just insane, man. I mean, I get so many press releases, and they're all addressed to me. They're like, "Hi, Airfon."
Oh, yeah.
So if they have my email address, they're sent directly to me, and they know my first name. It makes it
There's
really
no
difficult.
way that you can
like
filter that out.
And I get stuff from people I've never heard from, so I don't know like what the emails are going to contain. It's very hard. So I use Apple VIP just to make certain people VIP. So instead of trying to filter stuff out, I just give attention to things I know I actually want to see. So
that makes sense.
But still, even that isn't perfect.
Yeah, I'm not good at it either, and I'm the person that goes through their email without really delegating or responding to things, just because I don't like seeing that I have an unread message.
Oh,
right. So I'll just be like, oh, I need to go through that, and I'll just read it, or maybe I'll read it. But I don't do anything. There's no action.
Yeah, right? It sits in your email box forever.
But then I'll do like a day where I actually go through and respond, and then I do an archive. Because I don't like to delete emails, so I'll just archive emails.
I don't either, yeah.
And so yeah, I usually end up going like that. And that's probably the best I've been in terms of my respond habits. So I'm sorry. Actually, one new thing I started to do, recently I got like a few requests for interviews that were really lengthy texts. People asking me like really lengthy, like, what do you call it? Like line after line after line of questions, right? Wow. And I was like, okay, geez, this is going to take me so long to like construct a good formulated answer. Mm-hmm. And I was like, you know what? Screw this. I honestly think we don't use multimedia enough for correspondence. And I think that it's bad that we don't, because there's only so much you can fully get across in text. And I do a lot of product development, and I have to sit there and think like, how can I word this perfectly so that if you didn't know what I was thinking, you can read it and then all of a sudden know what I'm thinking, you know? And it's like, that's stupid. You can just make something like a video, or you can draw a picture and show somebody. That's so stupid that we're stricken to this like text only thing. So what I did for these two guys was I made really quick photo booth videos and was just like, I'm just gonna go through your questions. Feel free to adjust them how you need to, because that's what reporters do, you know. And if you need to trim them, go ahead. But I'm just gonna go through, and then I upload it to my YouTube, and I put it as unlisted, and I sent them the link.
Oh, interesting. And unlisted videos can be viewed as many times as you want, right?
Yeah.
Huh.
So I was like, this is a much faster way for me, and I've done that now since with developers, showing them how I want my site to behave, and I've done it for designers, showing them like more specifics about like stuff that I could get out way quicker if I talked to you on the phone, but you live in Germany and I live here, so let me just make this video really quick, and then you send me, if you have any questions, let me know, you know?
That's a really interesting idea. Like the fact that you can make it unlisted too.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, if you can use YouTube to its fullest extent, I mean, honestly, that's the way to do it. Don't try to like Dropbox it and then expect somebody to download, or Dropbox it and expect somebody to stream it. It's not good. It's not a good experience. Just throw it on YouTube. Just exploit the crap out of YouTube, man.
Yeah, especially if you can make things unlisted. Because, I mean, if something's unlisted, no one's ever going to find it. You know, like, they would have to see the URL somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm using it like that, and so far it's been working. I just feel like, for some reason, multimedia is, like, it's, like, weirdly taboo, or it's not, people don't really use it for communication. Like, if I was going to show you some project that I was working on, why the hell wouldn't I just show you a photo?
Yeah,
or a video,
for sure.
right?
I think that's definitely a good use for it.
I mean, some people don't like being on video. I don't give a shit.
Yeah,
like, you know?
there are people who just don't like the video at all.
Yeah, but anyway.
Cool. We have one more thing to wrap up, right?
Yeah, this is a quickie.
So we were going to talk about this last week, but it kind of got all foobarred.
Yeah, this is fast. Can you video this for me?
Hopefully I have space. We're going to find out.
This has an interesting little story behind before we get into the recording.
Okay.
So a lot of you remember at LastFM, right? You remember it.
I do, yeah.
Right? It was one of those things that a lot of people used back in the day, maybe like, I don't know, 2009, 10, 2008, something like that. And a lot of us have accounts still. They're probably just dormant, you know.
No scrobblin happening.
Yeah. So like scrobblin was something that people would do. You install something on your computer, and every time that you play songs in iTunes, it auto uploads that information to your page, and you have a page that's like a Facebook page.
It's like the social part of Spotify and Rdio, except you're listening to your own music library that you downloaded.
Yeah.
Like, so it's such a sign of the times,
Oh,
right?
big
It's like
time,
everyone's buying their music.
Everyone has their big library of like a billion songs.
Yeah, right.
And I really don't have that anymore. I have a hard drive external that my new habit is, because I'm not using Spotify, is I have a hard drive and I plug it in, and I'll maybe like drag a couple albums on because I want them to show up on my phone. You know, so that's kind of the extent. But a friend of mine was like, "You should get back on LastFM. I want to see your stuff." And I was like, "Oh my god, okay. I don't even know my password, but let's see." And so like I got back on to this archaic site that I hadn't touched in a year, and I was like, okay, but this doesn't solve anything, because you're not going to know what I'm listening to, because everything I listen to is on the phone, you know? Like, I'll go for a run and I'll listen to my iPod or my music app on the phone. But then I found out you can get the scrobbler for the phone. So I was like, oh, that's pretty cool, actually. That means that anytime I listen to music on my phone, which is actually a lot, it will auto-upload that data to the cloud and go to LastFM. So
gotcha.
Cool, let's just do that. And so I was messing with it, so now we can look at it. So I was messing with the Scrobbler app. Can you see this?
Yep.
Okay. And it's basically it's pretty basic, you know. It has like basically this taps into stuff that's on your phone, right? So this is just tapping into songs that you have already on your iPod, or what do they call it, the music app. But then I clicked on playlists, and I noticed that there's these kind of like categories. So it's like, oh, low energy, relaxed, punchy dynamics, and I was like, oh, okay, I guess this is like their Spotify, or not Spotify, I guess this is their what do you call it, like Pandora, right? So I was like, oh, okay, let's check it out, like, because I wasn't really paying attention to who's here, so I was like, oh yeah, I like some of those artists, so sweet, I'm gonna listen to this. And then I was listening to it, and I was realizing that like every song came up I loved, and I was like, this is like the best Pandora I've ever heard, and I haven't heard an ad in like 20 minutes. I'm like, I've been listening this whole time, no ads, and every song was something I knew. And then I was kind of groggy, but finally it dawned on me that all it's doing is picking things from your music app. Yeah.
But categorizing them for you.
Yeah, and these smart playlists are actually really good, because like I had taken a nap and I was like, oh, I just want to listen to something, and I pressed it, and I was like, this is actually really well categorized to be called low energy, or to be called relaxing, or to be called blah, blah, blah. So I've been using that. I guess the only like problem is that you still have to have music on your device, or on your computer, right? So it's like that's kind of the break, because not a lot of people do that anymore, right? So,
yeah, because I don't know. Yeah, I definitely don't either. I just don't want to keep a bunch of music on my phone.
Exactly. And especially, I have an 11-inch Air. I have like the dinkiest computer ever.
Yeah.
Right? So I definitely don't want to put my old library of songs on it.
Right.
But I did think that was cool, even though it made me feel like a complete idiot that I thought I had found the holy grail of Pandora radio, right? I thought I'd found like the best untapped thing.
It's essentially just a glorified iTunes.
Yeah, it's basically like the only kind of like cool thing I think about it is the fact that it does those smart playlists, which actually are good. Because I mean, think about it. If there's one thing that Spotify or LastFM could have that's good, is a ton of data that says like what is relaxing music, what is this music, what is that music.
Yeah.
Because they've been in business for a long time. So it's kind of a fun little app. If you have songs on your phone, give it a shot.
I might try that. I do have some songs on my phone. But it was broken last time we tried it. You got that figured out?
It had an update that went out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
bad timing.
Anyway, I thought that was my little anecdote.
Have you listened to Songza? Songza's great too. It's like Pandora, except you can listen to public playlists by different people that they publish.
Oh, that's
But
kinda
cool. It's like, here, I'll just show you real fast. We don't even have to like record this or anything. It plays you musics. It plays you musics by categories. So instead of like Pandora where it's based on an artist,
Yeah, that's what I liked
Songza
about
is based
that.
on a mood. So
That's-
you're driving, game day, relaxing at home. Hold on. It's Sunday evening. Play music for.
Here, I want to record that. That's,
Okay.
That's cooler than I
Okay,
thought it
cool.
would be.
So
So this is still going out to catch music from where?
it's just from the web. It's just like Pandora. So let's say relaxing at home, right?
So they have their own Pandora thing.
Yeah.
So
So
they
let's
have ads
do.
within the music.
I guess so. I haven't really used this
Do
a ton.
80s memories.
Whoops. The 80s memories. There we go. Anger management. After the love is gone. Lost love ballads. Let's just do that one.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, and then
See, that's the thing that hooked me when I was playing with it. I was like, yeah, exactly. Low energy perfectly described my mood at that time because I was like just getting up from a nap,
Yeah,
And I
and
was
it did a good job?
Yeah, it was perfect. And like you said, it's
I
better.
actually like this song.
Like you said, though, it's better than Pandora because Pandora, you have to kind of think of something that you want to listen to, but then it's not really always going to satisfy your appetite because you're going
Yeah.
to be like, well, yeah, but I want to listen to James Brown, not Earth, Wind, and Fire that you just
Right.
played,
Yeah, I mean, Pandora is an investment. You have to train your stations.
You do, yeah.
And the more you train a station, the better it becomes. But
Sometimes you get locked into this loop of like 4 songs, not 4, let's say realistically 12 songs that just keep coming back.
But you can click
Right.
on Pandora, I'm tired of this song, and then it always says, oh, okay, we'll put this on the shelf for a while and you won't hear it.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So yeah, I've been listening to a lot of Pandora. So you can do that, but what can happen on pretty much any station is you like similar kinds of music or you like a certain kind of music, right? So eventually all these like stations
they start to bleed
kind
into
of
each
start
other.
to bleed into each other, and you're like, wait a second, what is Elton John doing on my,
REO
Speedwagon Pandora album or station? Get the hell out of here.
Yeah. I kind of go back and forth, and I realized that within the last time that we've talked, Spotify's radio has gotten way better.
Has it really?
Way, way better. Because
should
I remember
check it
I
out
was
again.
dogging all over it, and I was like, this is a piece of
It was
crap.
bad, yeah.
Because it had just gotten released, but, well, the big thing, I think, is that I don't pay for Spotify, and not Spotify. I don't pay for Pandora, and they've gotten insane with their ads.
They have.
Like
I
literally,
agree.
I'll play and skip one time, and then I'll get an ad, like a full blown taking up the screen ad, right?
Really?
And I'm like, are you kidding? And then like 2 skips. And then all of a sudden, I think the skip amount is way less now. So I'm like, that made me download Spotify to check it out. And I think that one's way more clear. It will be like you have 4 more left, and that makes it like, okay, I'm not getting ambushed by.
And
this
then you know an
ad.
ad's coming?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I like
interesting.
that. I mean, they should do that on Pandora. I mean,
that would make you probably, well, I don't know.
I paid for Pandora. Finally, I just got tired of the ads. And plus, they had that mobile limit, that 40-hour mobile limit.
Right,
So
I hit that.
You did? I was getting close to.
I went on a road trip and I hit it, yeah.
And so finally, I would actually pay for Spotify too, but Spotify is too expensive in my opinion.
How much is it? Like $6 or
It's
$7?
$5 a month if you want to get no ads on the web and the desktop version.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to use the mobile version, it's $10 a month.
$10 a month.
I'm like, it's too much. Like $10 just to listen to some music on my phone.
Dude, freaking.
It's not worth it to me.
Netflix is $8 a month.
Yeah, that's a good point. Although arguably you would listen to way more music than you would watch movies.
Yeah.
But you know how much we talked about this once before. You know how much they pay per 1,000 songs?
Yeah, like 0.1 cents.
It's like 12 cents.
Yeah.
For 1,000 songs, every 1,000 songs you listen to, they owe 12 cents.
to the artist.
To the artists,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Or to probably like the places.
I don't
that
think
own
there's
the
any real
libraries.
I think a lot of people get really bullish about I love Rdio, that's the best thing ever, and it's just like, you know what, they all have kind of their attributes.
They do. They both have their pros and cons
Yeah.
for sure.
Anyway.
Anywho, skis, we should probably wrap it up, eh?
Yeah, give me
Let's
a
wrap her
high
up.
five.
That didn't hurt, did it?
No.
Because my hands are so much.
So
my mitts.
sweaty.
Yeah, well, it is sweaty. Real man has
What are you
sweaty
doing
hands.
down there?
Looking all weird. Hands all sweaty.
So,
Dude, it's hot in here, isn't it?
No, I'm wearing a sweatshirt. Hide and seek clothing.
Maybe that's why, because that sweatshirt's so cool. Whoa, wet nose. Oh.
So,
my dog was sniffing
where
me.
can the folks find this show?
This show can be found in a plethora of places, namely iTunes, the best way, audio and video for those. Gosh, I wish I knew how many audio listeners we have. My tracking isn't working. So
can
if
do
you're
it
an
if you
audio
want
listener, no idea how many of you guys are out there, but I know you're out there. And you can also do video, of course. You can also watch us on the YouTubes. That just go to theyoutubes.com.
.cool.
.cool.hip. Go to youtube.com/user-friendly show. You can stream our episodes there. Not many of you do that, but hey, we got a handful.
Yeah, and if you want to, we would love it if you left us an iTunes review.
Oh, yeah, please.
And why would we want that?
Well, as you can tell, maybe you can't tell because of the high production value of the show. Like Roberto and I are dressed impeccably. Mm-hmm. We're in a high quality studio, as you can tell, and we spend a lot of money on the production of the show. But we actually don't make any money at all.
In fact, green screen. Actually.
We actually lose some money doing this show. And Roberto and I are both so vain that we're happy that way as long as you give us your praise.
Yeah.
So our self-worth is immediately linked to our iTunes score for this podcast.
Just leave us comments such as "we're not worthy." That
Yeah,
would be totally fine.
And maybe if you could work in like ASCII art of you bowing up and down.
Yeah.
That would just make me feel so good. So yes, if you like this show, whatever country you're in, please leave us a 5-star rating and a review. If you leave us a review, we'll probably read it on the show.
Yes, sir. Okay, and these guys can find you online somewhere?
Yeah, at Erfon, ERFON with an @ ampersand, as I like to call them.
And
no, it's not an ampersand. It's an @ sign.
I am
Ignore
at
that second part.
Roberto Hoyos, ROBERTOHOYOS.
Indeed.
And that is the end of the show, my friend. You know, sometimes we just got to get out of here because we're at the end of the show.
Sometimes when the end of the show comes, you just have to get out of here. And until the next time before we get out of here, we will see you on the pre-get out of here time.